Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to install the Protaper contour handlebars and new grips on the CRF250L, and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is remove the reusable zip ties. There are 4 of them, and all you have to do is on the back there's a little clip. You really can't see it, and if you use your fingernail and you just push it away from the bar or up, it will loosen it up and you can pull and push the little clip off. So there's 4 of them. Remove all 4 and save them because they're reusable. Next we'll remove the mirrors, and to do that there's a little rubber cover and you just slide it up and then it exposes 2 bolts, and these are 14 millimeters, or in my case they're already loose. I'll just twist it off. And do the same to the other side. Just lift up the rubber, and if you have to, loosen the bolts and then just twirl it around until it comes off. Next we'll remove the attachment that was holding the mirror. There are 2 bolts on both sides, and they are the 8 millimeter. So if you have the wrench or socket, remove those or loosen those up. Next we will remove the throttle housing and the light controls for the other side, and on both of them there are 2 screws. You might not be able to see them here well on the video, but there's just 2, and you need the what I call the star screwdriver to remove those. Once we have the control mechanisms undone, the last thing to do is to remove the bar from the triple clamp, and you just use your wrench or socket to remove the bolts, and they are 12 millimeters. And then now the bars can be removed. And then just slide out the throttle control. And the old bar has been removed. Now that we have the factory handlebars off, let's have a quick look and compare the 2 of them. So we have the Protaper Contour, the CR High, and the factory bars. The Contour is lighter, and just having a quick match them up, they are a little bit shorter. I would say a 1/4 of an inch shorter than the factory. So the first thing we'll need to do is to install the universal bar clamps. And you can see there's 2 of them, and these go where the factory bolts would go, and then these are the new top bolts. To add the universal bar clamps, basically you just put them over the holes for the old one, and it comes with supplied bolts. And what you need is you'll need an Allen key, and actually the Allen key, one of the Allen keys that come with your bike spare parts or tools, works perfectly. It's the right size for these screws. So basically you just add the screws and then you tighten them up with your Allen wrench, and you do the same to both sides, making sure they're both affixed in the same fashion. And then just tighten it up. There we go. Okay. And now we can actually add the bar. We're gonna put it on. We're not gonna tighten it down, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some of our controls back on, just so we can get a good location of where we're going to fit everything. And we do have to drill 2 little holes to match up with a little bit of mounting that's inside the thing. So first, let's just put these on to the bike. And it's similar to when you took it off. You'll just use these new mounting clamps. And we're just going to lightly attach these. We'll do the same to the other side. Once we have everything kind of just lined up lightly, we're going to deal with the little pins. There's a little pin, I'm not sure if you can actually see it here, a little dark, but there's a little pin that points out, and in the factory bar there's actually a little drill hole in the bar itself, and they line up to make sure the controls don't rotate. And it's on both sides, on the throttle side and the clutch side. So in order to find out where we need to drill the hole, what we're going to do is we will going to use just a marker, and we're going to mark the little nipple that's on the piece of plastic, and then we will push it against the bar to where we believe it's going to fit, and then that's going to mark the bar to give us a point to drill. Some people use paint, dab the paint, same thing. I don't have any paint with me, so I'm going to use marker. I'll get that on first. And we're just using the throttle side grip right now, just so we can get an idea of where it's going to sit, and it easily comes off, so it gives us something to play with. And we're just going to come in just a little bit in case we have to push the bar a little bit if we have to cut it, so it gives us a little bit more room in case we have to if we want to cut the bar tip off later. So, okay, so it showed a little dot right there. And once you have everything in place and the holes drilled and everything put back, basically you have to now just tighten everything up. Don't want to over tighten it because you don't want to strip it, but you want to make sure it's tight. So the only thing left is to put on the grips themselves onto the bars. Everything is affixed and tightened up. The throttle, to drill that one, that was really difficult without taking the whole throttle assembly apart. What I actually did is I just measured it with a ruler and then basically eyeballed it, and it worked out. Now to get the throttle side grip off, you're going to have to use a knife, some sharp knife, whatever you have, and basically you're just going to cut it all the way down and peel it back off. So let's try this. Of course, I don't have the sharpest knife. You say sharpest knife in the toolbox or the drawer, or something like that. Some kind of saying. There we go. Do it lightly. It doesn't take much pressure because you don't want to damage the throttle tube. pretty much got it all cut. So let's peel it away. Very good. No real residue. Just wipe it off. If you have anything that's sticking to it or any leftover goo or goop. And while we have it off, what we're going to do right now is we're actually also going to drill out the tip, because eventually we're going to have to put on the bark brushes. So in order to drill this out, we're going to use a step drill. Okay, so that seems to be... So now with that drilled out, there's a little bit of residue. You will notice that one is larger than the other. You can tell just by, you can actually see it with the eyeball, so you don't have to measure. And the larger one will go on the throttle side, and the smaller one will go on to the clutch side. So using the ProTaper glue, you put it all over the handle side, or the bar. So you get it on there. And inside the grip itself. And then we'll slide it on. Okay, so we finally got the throttle on and the clutch side is on, and tightened everything up. Make sure it's nice and tight. One thing that I want to point out, because it caused a little bit of issues, and it's the placement of the universal bar clamps. I had them so the wide part was on the outside, so it was pointing on the outside. And with that setup, the pad, if I can get it out here without, the pad wouldn't fit on. So I actually had to remove the universal bar clamps, twirl them around, so the bar pad actually fits now. So that's just one word of caution, to make sure that the wider part of the universal bar clamp is on the inside when you install them. So this is the end of the install of the ProTaper contour bars. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'll get back to you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Know the quality of light's not the best, but it's what I have to work with at this point. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and enjoy your day and have a safe rides.